Hey, what's up? It's Peter Voogd, author of the best-selling book 6 Months to Six Figures and founder of the prestigious Game Changers Academy. And welcome, whether you're watching on my YouTube channel or you're listening to this via podcast. I appreciate you, and I want to let you guys know I'm recording this again for YouTube and for the podcast because I know some of you guys like watching this and some of you guys like listening if you're traveling or you're driving. So if you're subscribed to my YouTube, I appreciate it. We have a lot more amazing content coming out, and if you're subscribed to my podcast, thank you for being a loyal listener. Once again, we have a lot more coming out with that as well. So today's topic is extremely important, and I would go as far as saying it's a game changer on how your future turns out, and this can really change the direction of your life for the better or for worse. And where someone is, their current reality, whether good or bad, is because of this. So this is a topic that I haven't talked about much, but it's something that has helped me get to the level I am today. And I've been broke and discouraged and frustrated. I've been lost in business. I've let the business run me versus me running my business. I've had Superman syndrome where I didn't know how to hire people and I was doing everything myself. This helped me with every single facet of my life and business. Whether you want to be a better businessman or businesswoman, whether you want to be a better husband or wife, whether you want to be a better CEO or entrepreneur, brother, sister, friend, mom, dad, this helps. It's the power of focus. Pure laser focus. Now, I want to give you some mindset shifts first because mindset comes first, awareness comes first, results come second. And first awareness key is it's not about personal development as much as it is about knowing yourself. Okay, people are obsessed with learning and growing and reading every book and listening to every podcast and watching every YouTube video and going to every seminar. Don't do that. You have to ask yourself the tough questions and really get to know yourself, learn how to spark your own fire, how to focus more. You don't need all this information. Now, I do appreciate you watching this, and hopefully you make me a part of your personal growth system and non-negotiable for the week, because I try to give you guys non-BS, tactical, relevant, comprehensive content, but at the same time, don't overwhelm yourself. It's also not about working harder or smarter. People say it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Sadly, some people are still living in the 70s and 80s where they're saying it's all about hard work. I don't really like the word hustle because if you hustle all day long, sometimes you don't have time for the things that mean the most to you to give the most fulfillment. Traveling, right? Giving back, hanging with family, creating art, things like that. So it's not about working smarter or harder. It's about working right. There's 4,000 ways to get to an end result, but there's one optimal way. That's what we want to figure out. Focus is more important than intelligence. Let me say that again. Focus is more important than intelligence. And you have to admit to yourself, there are people right now busier than you with more results, with more peace of mind and less stress. So the I'm too busy, I don't have enough time is a myth, and you got to get rid of that. And focus is ultimately a matter of simplicity and decision. There was an interview with James Cameron, who was the director of Titanic and Avatar, two of the highest grossing movies of all time. And he said his number one key when they asked him about these movies was focus. You have to be super focused, he says, with like a laser focus with no distractions if you want to get anything worthwhile in life done. When I did Avatar, I had to keep focus for 4 years, he said. Here's what made me study focus years ago. There was an event that Warren Buffett and Bill Gates were at. That'd be some type of event, right? Two richest men in America, both worth over 50 billion. And they asked them in separate rooms, totally at different times, not together, what was one of their biggest keys to success? And at different times at the same event, they had the same answer. They both said focus was one of their biggest keys to how they built their fortune and made their billions. And in this economy where there's overwhelming complexity and insurmountable change and incredible competition, it's become more important than ever to focus and narrow down and dial in on what's most important to you. Now, there's long-term focus and then there's short-term concentration. And at some point you'll realize that focus really drives everything in your life. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, your relationships, your emotions. And whatever you focus on multiplies. So if you focus on, a lot of people focus on their problems, they get bigger. If you focus on solutions, you'll develop more of them. If you focus on what you don't want, you'll get more of that. Focus multiplies, all right? So I'm gonna give you guys 6 keys to maximizing your focus and just being laser focused, like the top 1%. And of course, I wasn't always focused. I'm still pretty intense and I sometimes lose focus. I don't claim to be perfect, but these are things that I've learned in the last 12 years since I was an entrepreneur that I've used from trial and error. I've studied, I've developed things that have worked for me. They might not all work for you, and they might not be the right way. It's not about right or wrong. It's about me just giving you the value that I want to give based on my experience, and hopefully they help. Like I said, the first thing is awareness. So the first key for me that I think, this is kind of the unorthodox tips to focus. These aren't the popular keys. These aren't ones you'll find in other YouTube videos. This is strictly from my experience. Number one is your perspective of your 24 hours. Your perspective of your 24 hours is a game changer. Productivity is about what you do, but it's also about how you think, because time is the stuff of life. Time is the great equalizer, and it's all we have. We have the same amount of time as Richard Branson, as Tony Robbins, as LeBron James, as Elon Musk, as Oprah, as Michael Jordan. A lot of people live like they have all the time in the world. Remember, in many ways, your focus can single-handedly determine whether your life is world-class and your business is world-class, or whether your life and business are just simply mediocre or just simply average. It all breaks down to how you manage your time, but more importantly, how you manage focus and your perspective on your time. So how you spend your 24 hours determines your productivity. So the key first is, do you understand the importance of maximizing your time? Something I told myself in 2009 when I was overwhelmed and working 80 hours a week. I told myself, I need to be disciplined instead of working all the time. There's a lot of people manipulating out there, lying to you, saying you have to wake up at a certain time, you have to go to bed. It's not about when you wake up or when you go to bed, it's about what you do while you're awake. So the first thing you might have to tell yourself, I don't know if you can relate, but you got to tell yourself, you got to be disciplined and focused instead of trying to work all the time and work extra hours. Now, it's important if you're in sacrifice stage to work extra hours like I did. When I was in between ages 22 and 28, I was working every single day, building my empire, trying to get to the next level and build this freedom, right? That's number one, is understand the importance of what stage you're at and the importance of your 24 hours, and make sure you're maximizing your 24 hours. Number two, figure out what times you focus. Most people focus best in the morning that I've talked to, or late at night. It's never like in between the day. It's kind of weird. And studies show that 90% of people do their best thinking outside of an office space. So notice when and where you focus best, then allocate your toughest tasks for those moments. People are, right now it's 9:20 p.m. Okay, I'm more focused later at night. I do get up early sometimes, but I don't do any videos or content in the morning, ever. It's just not my best time. I do have a great morning routine and I'm effective during the day, but I like shooting content later at night. Almost all my mixtape tracks for the Know Yourself mixtape, which is a motivational mixtape, you guys can check it out. We'll put the link below. Almost all those tracks are from 4 or 5 p.m. on. A lot of creatives are best focused in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night. When I have my camera crew stay at my house, it's kind of funny. They work from 11 or 12 to 4 or 5 a.m. I can't make it past that time, right? Know when you have the most willpower and know when you're the most focused. Don't base it off what other people do, okay? Focus off when you know from your past experience, from your feelings, from your gut. Notice when and where you focus best, and then make sure you allocate your toughest tasks that take the most willpower to those times. Sometimes you have to be unorthodox as an entrepreneur. You don't have to work 9 to 5. You don't have to get up when everyone else gets up. You don't have to go out when everyone else goes out, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Be unorthodox. The second you find yourself thinking about something, do it. Action creates the motivation and focus. Motivation doesn't create focus and action. So for an example, you're never going to be motivated sitting on the couch. Okay? Action creates the motivation. Movement creates motivation, not the other way around, all right? That's number 2, is figure out your optimal times you focus and place your toughest tasks there. 3, train your mind like a muscle. When multitasking is normal for you, your brain quickly adapts, and it's really hard to break that habit. You lose the ability to focus as distraction kind of becomes a part of your daily routine. We've trained our brains to be unfocused. So you have to practice concentration by turning off all distractions and committing your attention to like a single task. So start small, maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day, and work up to larger chunks. If you find your mind wandering, just return to that task at hand. Here's a huge key. For me, it's 60 minutes after my morning routine, I do my toughest task. Hardest first. For 60 minutes, I get rid of all distractions. I ruthlessly eliminate any interruptions, because here's the deal. If you don't have a plan to interrupt your interruptions, your plans will always be interrupted. So you have to figure out what has killed your momentum in the past. You have to figure out what distractions get to you and cause you to lose your focus, and then create prevention plans for each. If it's something on your phone, take away all notifications on your phone. If it's sleeping in, set your alarm and make it a habit to get up earlier. If it's letting other people bug you, go somewhere else. If it's your atmosphere, change it up and have a variety, right? Train your mind like a muscle. Whatever you do repeatedly, it's going to keep happening. It's number 3. Number 4, preparation and peak state. Preparation and peak state. Think about, this was a game changer for me, by the way. You have to start thinking about what you want, not just what you have to do. When you focus on all the things you have to do, it's very easy to get demotivated. But when you focus on what you want and why you want it, when you focus on your legacy and your movement and your vision and your income goals and the lifestyle you want, instead of everything you have to do to get there, it becomes easier to focus. So focus on the end results and focus on the feelings you want to experience upon completion. Get addicted to completing things, not to stopping when things get uncomfortable or tough. Here's a big one with preparation and state. Don't make as many decisions. The more decisions you make, you tend to be less effective long term. So try not to waste your time making decisions that don't really matter. And one of the biggest things is scrolling the internet, scrolling Instagram, looking at all the different things online. Every time you make a decision, you lose some of your willpower, and you want to use your willpower for your toughest tasks. Okay? Second thing under preparation and state of mind is you want to do all you can to work while you're in the zone. If you work for 20 to 23 minutes straight, you get in the zone peak state. When you're in the zone, you're 3 times more effective. People always ask me how I got 4 mixtapes done, how I got 3 books written, how I got all these things done, how I got all the things I've done as far as like results wise, how I created this academy, how I have a podcast, how I'm traveling, how I have this day in the life series, how I have a partnership with Entrepreneur and Forbes, all these things. It's because I've been able to focus on what's most important to me and get in the zone when I work. So here's the deal. I've done a lot of research on this, and this alone I think could help you, and I'm hoping it does. Let me know below what your biggest takeaway was and what you do to stay focused. And by the way, thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, we have so many amazing things. That's our number one focus right now, is building our YouTube and creating content that changes the game, that's relevant, that's engaging, that's entertaining, that helps you shift your mindset and become a better entrepreneur, better leader, and a world-class human being. So here's what happens. And this was me. If you get distracted before the 20 minutes is up, you're not in the zone. And then it takes 23 more minutes to get back in the zone. So what happens is most people never operate at their absolute best. None of their content, none of their copy, nothing they put out is their best work. Think about that. You want to make sure your best work is created when you're in your peak state of mind. That's a huge, huge key. So try to get in the zone and eliminate distractions, and after 20 minutes, stay in the zone. You guys have seen athletes and teams when they're in the zone, when they have momentum, no one can stop them. That's how you want to operate as an entrepreneur and as a human being. Okay, so get in the zone and stay in the zone. Number 5, say no more than you say yes, and be okay with not responding to people. Be okay with not responding to people. A huge key to failure is a person's inability to say no. Learn to say no and don't let other people run your agenda. It's one thing to be distracted when you're trying to focus. It's another thing to be hijacked before you even start, right? The way to protect that is realize that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So realize what you're saying no to. When you say yes to something, it's really important to understand what you're saying no to. There's a screenwriter, I can't remember their name, one of the top screenwriters in the world, said half of knowing what you want is knowing what you must be willing to give up to get that. Steve Jobs used to say, what made Apple Apple isn't what they said yes to, but all the things they said no to that they turned down. Each additional obligation you agree to chips away at the effectiveness of what really matters to you. You can't please everybody, so don't even try. In fact, when you try, the one person you won't absolutely please is yourself. You have to give up the need to be liked and be okay. Teach people how to approach you. You want to train people and teach people not to bring you BS. Train people on how you want to be communicated with, right? You can say no with respect, and here's the crazy thing. You might think people will feel like you're too cool or you're too busy or acting Hollywood or whatever. The reality is they're going to respect you more for it because you're valuing your time. And if you don't value your time, nobody else will. Okay? So make sure you understand the importance of saying no. Take control of your agenda. Own your agenda, all right? Either you run your day or your day runs you. And you want to be the one that's in control of your day at all times. Number 6, understand the commitment required to achieve the goals and dreams that you're setting. Anyone can create a plan. You see plans everywhere. Plans are failing, movements aren't. Look at how many people write down goals. Writing down a goal doesn't mean you're going to achieve it. Only those who understand and accept the price that you have to have in order to stay on course. You have to pay the price and sacrifice. In order to go up, you have to be willing to give up something. The question here is, are you willing to do whatever it takes to complete the task you said you were committed to? Here's a big one here. Are you fully sold on the plan and the movement? It's an entire vision for life and business, not just a daily to-do list. So sell yourself. One of the biggest keys to focus for me is selling myself on the task at hand. I don't take anything on unless I'm fully sold on it. Another key side note is never say yes right away to a project. Take a day to think about it. When you clearly define your ideal outcome, it's called the one-page productivity plan. That was the biggest game changer for me that changed my life. Is I created a one-page productivity plan. I'm gonna give it to you guys, by the way. It's how to put all your goals, your values, your ideal outcome, and everything on one page, so you can measure every single thing that comes across your desk. And you can ask yourself, is this going to contaminate my freedom or contribute to my freedom? Is this going to get me closer to my goals or farther away? Right? So sell yourself. If you're not fully sold on it, don't say yes. Get it away, delegate it, or just say no. Because you have to realize that when you're sold on something, you're going to do it whether you feel like it or not. Here's an example. My book, 6 Months to Six Figures. This was so hard to write because I'm so energized and I'm so like hyper that I have ADD that I can't sit still. And it took me 8 or 9 months to write when I could have wrote it in a couple months, but I was always distracted. Right when I sold myself, this is a lesson here. Right when I sold myself, it's not about me. It's about all the people it's going to impact. I have a message inside of me. I have to get it out. I started focusing on the people that were going to write me. Started focus on visualizing, getting emails and getting messages like your book changed my life. Now I have people that said they didn't commit suicide. I have chills because of my book. That's why I wrote it. So I didn't care. I got outside myself. I got on purpose and off myself. It wasn't about me anymore. If it was about me, I wouldn't have finished this book. And it sold close to 300,000 copies, which is, I'm blessed, and that's insane. I didn't even expect that. But all because I sold myself on the importance of it. So only sell yourself on a couple things that are closest to the values and the vision you set for yourself, which is the one-page productivity plan that I'm gonna give you guys. So I'm gonna give you a free PDF. And this has everything you need to literally simplify your entire business, all your priorities, all your values, your top 5 goals, your strongest reasons. I kind of give you a roadmap that you can just fill in. If you go to peterjvoogd.com/free, I'm gonna put the link on here or below. You can get that PDF just from me to you. I appreciate you, and that's why I'm doing this. So you have a huge responsibility as a leader, as an entrepreneur in your community. You want to be the one that leads the majority and doesn't become the majority. I created this video because I've understood the power of focus. And as there's more information put out there, as there's so much competition and complexity, it's important that you shift away at all the noise and really focus on what matters, because that's how you're going to bring your life back on track and how you're going to get to that next level, whatever that is for you. Obsessive focus on what you want, not just what you want, but why you want it as well. That's how you're going to transform your business, all right? So does everything you do have a purpose behind it? What you focus on multiplies. And this is a process that should start right now, because either you're truly moving forward or you're not. Either you're truly doing work you enjoy or you aren't. Either you're truly the person you want to be or you're not. And either you're truly stepping up or you're backing down. And I challenge you to step up your focus. Step up your peace of mind, step up your confidence, step up your courage, step up your focus, because that's what you need to be the best person for everybody around you. So if you go to peterjvoogd.com/free, no strings attached, a PDF just for you about the 1-page plan that'll help you get focused. Now, every single thing that comes to you, measure it against your 1-page vision. And now you're gonna let your vision guide you, not your current circumstances. Hope that helps. Comment below, leave me your 1 tip for focus that's helped you and maybe one of your breakthroughs. I'll be in the comments. I love seeing the comments. Subscribe, hit the like button. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing rest of your night, and we'll talk soon.